teachers decide.
It's kind of coming to a head for the teachers, right? Because this is their working conditions.
Will their vote on a tentative agreement lead to a strike? Plus, roll up your sleeve if you can.
That private option, so that's really, I think, was a curveball last minute.
Why fewer Albertans will get a COVID vaccine this year. And a step forward in carbon capture.
At the very core of it, direct air capture is basically vacuuming the sky.
Why this Alberta plant could be just the beginning.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news. With Tara Nelson. Reporting tonight, Ian White.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Alberta teachers have voted on a contract proposal put forward by the province, and the results should be known only minutes from now. Tyson Fedor joins us live, and Tyson, it's expected teachers will have voted down this latest proposal.
Ian, voting closed just an hour ago, and it comes exactly 1 week from the strike deadline set out by the Teachers Association. Teachers are demanding higher wages and more supports in classrooms to address classroom size, and it's a vote that the union says it was not taken lightly. 700,000 Alberta students may not return to class next week if teachers forge ahead with a strike.
I think we're heading for a strike next week. I think that's where we're at this point.
Currently, a 12% salary increase over 4 years is on the table, along with 3,000 new teachers being hired over 3 years. The latest offer from the province also includes a COVID shot for educators.
I think the kids should stay in school, but I also think that the teachers need to be compensated for what they go through and how many kids are in each class and stuff.
Teachers had the weekend and Monday to vote on the deal.
I suspect the government will move relatively quickly. That's a guess, but I think so. It won't be that fast, though, because they have to recall the legislature, and they have to go through the whole motions of passing a bill, and I imagine the NDP opposition won't make it easy for them.
Long-term issues since the previous negotiations and strike in 2002.
There was finally a settlement that came out of it, which was very good on salaries, and the Learning Commission, which came out of it, really addressed class sizes in particular.
The union says that if the deal was voted down, 51,000 teachers will likely hit the picket line, but the province may step in with back-to-work legislation.
These are long-term issues, right, that we've known about them and just haven't been dealt with, and I think the teachers have just lost their patience with it.
The province has previously said that more than $400 million in classroom improvements would start this fall. For some Calgarians, the unknown is a lot to digest, and the impact it will have on students and parents.
Especially we're new to Calgary, so he's just getting to know his friends, so that will be a potential issue for us, and of course missing the school.
I think that it's a pretty raw deal to not have a new contract in 23 years. I don't think I would have stayed in a profession that didn't get a new contract in that length of time.
The province says in a statement, out of respect for the bargaining process, it will not comment on the vote at this time, adding it awaits ratification from teachers. Last week, the province pointed to $8.6 billion into building and renovating 130 schools. Ian, those vote results should be made public here in the next several minutes.
Okay, good to hear. Thank you, Tyson, and we'll check in with Tyson again later in the program. 2 homes were damaged by fire in the northeast late this afternoon. Crews are still on scene in Coventry Hills. Kevin Green joins us now. And Kevin, take us through what happened.
Ian, you can see right behind me, it just left. A fire investigator was standing there, gone into the house to check for hot spots inside the house. Just after 4 o'clock, just before 10 after 4 this afternoon, firefighters were called to this area. The reports were of a fire on the fence. It broke out in a shed along the fence. When they arrived, it was fully engulfed, but the high winds that were blowing through here, like a wind tunnel coming down between the 2 houses, fanned the flames, and they leapt into the adjacent houses, heavily damaging them. There were 5 people at home in one of the houses. One of the men who was in the house told me he was sleeping at the time and his kids were playing, and he got up and got them all out of the house. He described it as a very scary situation. Both the houses are heavily damaged, both by the flames and by water from the firefighters attempting to put out the fire. They haven't determined what caused it yet, but investigators are looking to try and determine a cause. Now, if you come back, you can see behind me that investigator I was talking about earlier is there now. He's checking for hot spots. He's standing about where the fire originally broke out. They don't know what the cause is yet. They have not yet called in the arson investigators. They'll only do that if he determines that this is a suspicious blaze. Back to you, Ian.
Kevin, thanks very much. The search for Darius McDougall is still ongoing, more than a week since he disappeared. But RCMP admit his odds of survival are very slim, giving the six-year-old less than a 5% chance. That news was shared with McDougall's family on Sunday. RCMP say they analyzed several factors, including what he was wearing when he disappeared, the terrain, the weather, the amount of time that has passed. Hundreds of people are still looking for Darius, but search and rescue crews admit the time has come to change some of their search tactics.
So it will change the use of some of the infrared technologies on the assumption that the infrared technologies won't be picking up any heat signatures on the ground. That's the biggest change right now, is changing from using the infrared to solely cameras to search the ground.
RCMP say Darius was walking with family members on Sunday, September 21st, when he became separated from them near the Alberta-BC boundary in the Crow's Nest Pass. Bookings are now open for Albertans who qualify for a free COVID-19 vaccine, and those who aren't eligible will have to pay out of pocket for the shot. But today we learned pharmacies will now be able to offer the vaccines also at a cost. Terry Fikowski is live outside the Cambrian Pharmacy in the Northwest. And Terry, there is some confusion about this rollout.
Ian, that's because a lot of pharmacists, like Cambrian here, just learned 2 weeks ago that they can now offer the COVID shots this season. That means people who don't qualify for the free shot under Phase 1 can get one right away and don't have to wait for Phase 2 to roll out mid-October. Today, the province started booking appointments for high-risk Albertans. Those shots will be free of charge, but will only be given at community health clinics. All other Albertans can start booking appointments for community health clinics on October 20th for $100. But now, all pharmacies can offer them at a cost. They appear to range between $135 to $155 at some pharmacies in Calgary. Pharmacies also don't have to wait until that Phase 2 rollout.
On the flip side, for pharmacy, we can start anytime. So we don't do public health, so we don't really have phase here. So because it's private stock and people have to pay out of pocket, so we can start anytime, yeah.
There is also some confusion about British Columbia's offer to give Albertans free COVID-19 shots. That province's health ministry said that there's an agreement from 2013 that means that that all Canadians should be able to receive publicly funded immunization anywhere. But today, when we phoned BC's booking line, we were told that only Albertans who qualified for the free shot here in Alberta will qualify for a free shot in British Columbia. So, Ian, we have reached out to that province's health ministry, as well as our own, for some clarity.
Thank you, Terry. It's been nearly 8 years since the supervised consumption site opened in the Beltline in Calgary, but its location at the Sheldon Schumer Centre has been contentious from the start. So where do some of Calgary's mayoral candidates stand on the issue? Jordan Canagan decided to find out.
Calgary's next mayor and council will have to weigh in on the future of the centralized supervised consumption site. Nearly every candidate pledged to advocate to close the location at the Sheldon Schumer, but not without a plan first.
And so I've called on the province of Alberta saying, you know, when you're ready, please close the Beltline supervised consumption site so we can work on a better process and making sure not just those that live in the area are safe, but the ones that use the facility are safe.
Healthcare is the responsibility of the provincial government, but we all have a role to play in how we keep our streets clean. To me, I would close the Sheldon Schumer site, but I'm not willing to close it until we have a solution in place. Simply dumping people back onto the streets is not a solution.
Mental health falls under provincial responsibility, and a statement from the Alberta government says if a municipality asks the province to close a supervised drug site in their community, we would work with that municipality to ensure other mental health and addiction services are in place to support the health, wellness, and recovery of individuals seeking help.
They've yet to bring us something. They've talked for 4 years about switching the location of that site and have brought nothing tangible forward. Once they have a plan, be happy to look at it, but this is not the purview of your local government.
Other candidates point to addressing the issue of mental health and addictions before shutting the consumption site down.
I met with the executive at the Calgary Police Service. They've been working on it for 4 years. This council shelved it. We're going to take it off the shelf. They tell me it's ready to roll out on day 1. So we can actually action that.
We need to ensure that we still have the compassion for those individuals who need the support, but we also got to crack down on the repeat violent offenders. So for me, it's not a solution to move the site to a different neighborhood and ask a different neighborhood to absorb those problems. We need to get to the root causes.
Jordan Cadigan, CTV News, Calgary.
And the province says if a new council requests the site's closure, a transition to other mental health support strategies would be phased in over several months.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Danielle, I thought it was quite chilly this morning. You can really sense that things are cooling down overall.
Yeah, and these winds, the clouds, an indication of the change to come, Ian. So today was an excessively hot day for many communities, given the time of year that we're in. So some areas in the south, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, got into the 30s today. And for us in Calgary, we got to 26. We've had the cloud cover roll in. As you can tell by my hair, the wind has picked up, now gusting closer to 50 kilometers per hour around the city. And so what we're looking at here is more long-term cool down. So tomorrow, still above normal with a high of 20 degrees expected, but we're going to start cooling down a little bit each day as we go here. Also, we have the chance of showers, especially between noon and 3. More details coming up, Ian.
Thanks, Danielle. A Calgary charity that tries to make sure Halloween is accessible to everyone, no matter their financial situation, is looking for help. Costumes for Kids is asking for donations to make sure every child can take part in Halloween. Organizers hope to collect 400 costumes this year, with hundreds of kids already signed up. They see even gently used costumes can make a big difference for a child.
It's amazing to see the joy on these kids' faces. Last year, they put their costume on right away in the parking lot and were running around as Spider-Man or Princess or whatnot. And I think joy is a basic need for a child.
Costumes can be dropped off at the Jubilee Auditorium, Kismet Clothing, or the West Hillhurst Community Association until October 8th. Almost 6 years ago, an Uber driver was murdered west of Calgary. Next, why a new trial has been ordered in the case. And this might change your morning routine, the closure of several Starbucks locations across North America. Also, if you have a news tip, text us 10400. A new trial has been ordered in the 2019 killing of an Uber driver near the Springbank Airport. Karsif Hirani's body was found on a rural road near Springbank Airport in December of 2019. He was driving for Uber that night. Court heard he was robbed and murdered. 3 people were charged. 1 woman was sentenced to 6 years for manslaughter. Robert Daigneault appealed his manslaughter conviction and won. The Alberta Appeals Court ruled the trial judge made errors, citing problematic evidence. The new trial date has not yet been announced. Canada has declared the Bishnoi gang a terrorist entity. The gang has been connected to arson, extortion, and murder across Canada, including in Edmonton. India denies claims it's using the gang to terrorize Canadians, calling for the creation of a separate Sikh state. Being listed as a terrorist entity means authorities can seize property and freeze accounts, and it prevents Canadians from assisting or financing the group. Police continue to investigate the stabbing of a teenager on Sunday. Around 3:30 p.m., officers were called to a disturbance on 8th Avenue Southwest. The teen was transported to hospital. Police say he is not cooperating with investigators. 4 people have been left without a home, and a pet is missing after a fire in the Northwest over the weekend. Fire crews were called around 1:30 a.m. Saturday to the Citadel neighborhood. When they arrived, 2 homes were on fire. Those 2 homes received severe damage and are deemed unlivable, while 2 others were left with heat damage. 4 people got out of the homes unharmed, with 4 pets, but 1 kitten is still missing. One of the neighbors was alerted shortly after the fire broke out.
So my daughter opened the door, and it was right there in the house. The flame and wind was blowing towards our house. So we had to right away close the door, and then we opened the garage and came out.
Investigators say it appears the fire started near the deck and the flames quickly spread. A family is safe after a fire early this morning. Calgary firefighters responded just before 5 to a duplex-style home on 28th Avenue Southwest. Crews found a wooden back deck on fire. They say the adults and a child got out before they arrived, and firefighters retrieved a bird. WestJet says it was hit by a cybersecurity breach earlier this year, exposing the personal information of some passengers. The Calgary-based airline says it detected suspicious activity in June and determined that a sophisticated criminal third party had gained unauthorized access to its systems. WestJet says the data obtained could include names, contact details, and travel documents, but no credit card or payment information was exposed. And to breaking news now, Alberta teachers have voted on the province's last offer. According to teachers, the offer has been rejected.
Colleagues have spoken. 89.5% have voted to reject the memorandum of agreement. Teachers will be on strike on October 6th. For weeks, this government has tried to suggest that the ATA leadership is out of touch with members and barreling toward a strike, that somehow the ATA leadership is preventing a deal from being made. They are wrong. Because the ATA leadership respects and values members' opinions, we went directly to our teachers and asked them. Their response? The resounding and historical no that you have before you today. The proposed agreement failed to meet the needs of teachers, failed to improve student classroom conditions in a concrete and meaningful way, and failed to show teachers the respect they deserve. The undeniable truth is that Alberta spends the least per student on public education than any other province in Canada. Teachers and students feel this every single day. Parents and the public are witness to the fact that this government has chosen to devalue the education of its youth. Kids know this. They even self-organize their own walkout in protest to their learning conditions. So we have teachers, administrators, students, and parents all sounding the alarm on the state of our schools in Alberta. The only ones who don't seem to understand or see the damage that has been done by this chronic underfunding is government itself. They seem to be the ones who are out of touch when it comes to the state of public education in Alberta. It is the government who should be providing the necessities for public education. Teachers have been forced into an inappropriate position to have to bargain for these basics. It's deplorable that teachers should have to bargain for 1,500 educational assistants to support their students. It's deplorable that teachers should have to bargain to see their own numbers increase. Providing adequate numbers of teachers and appropriate student supports is not a luxury to negotiate. It is literally the job of government. And despite their bragging of record spending, the UCP have failed to fund for enrollment and in growth. The government should be embarrassed to suggest that teachers should not expect an improvement of their working conditions and salary improvements. It seems that you can't have both, is what we heard. But both is what is needed to ensure a public education system that is vibrant and serves the needs for all of Alberta's students. And don't get me wrong, this is a mess of their own making. Instead of fixing the problem head on, we now have oversized classes, growing student complexities that push teachers far past their limits. This government needs to be held accountable. They can no longer ignore it. Teachers deserve to be fairly compensated for the challenging realities and complexities they face in today's classrooms. The government points to a 12% raise over 4 years, claiming it is in line with other public sector agreements. That is misleading. Many other unions received more than just percentage increases, and they had significant salary improvements in the years leading up to their newly negotiated contracts. By contrast, teachers have seen less than 6% in total in over a decade. The government also insists that 12% would make Alberta's teachers the highest paid in Western Canada. This is simply untrue. So let's be clear. The Memorandum of Agreement does little to repair a decade where teachers receive less than what they deserve for their workload increasing. Teachers have been told time and time again, the government will make it right the next time. Well, the next time is here. They are taking action because the crisis in our public education schools can no longer be ignored. To our students and parents, we know that this decision will affect your lives, and we do not take this decision lightly. But you already live with the impact of underfunding, overcrowded classrooms, missing supports, and learning conditions that fall short to what you deserve. We encourage you, parents and students and community members, to get loud and to stay loud. No child of yours should be left without a desk, without the help that they need, or without hope for something better. This is bigger than a contract. Teachers are not just fighting for themselves. They're fighting for every student, every family, and for the very future of public education in this province. And now I'm ready to take questions, Heather. Thank you.
Okay, that is Jason Schilling, president of the Alberta Teachers Association, on the results of the province-wide teachers' vote, and they have overwhelmingly rejected the tentative agreement that was reached with the province. Let's go back to Tyson Fedora. So, Tyson, what does this mean for parents?
Well, it means that teachers say they are headed for a strike as of next Monday, so that means students will not be back in class, Ian. So what that might look like moving forward is still quite unknown, but many experts we've spoken with suggest that both these sides, the province and the Teachers Association, will head back to the table sometime potentially later this week. At this point, we may hear from Jason Schilling a bit more on that a little later, but just a recap of what happened there. 89.5% of teachers voting on this, the majority voting no to this latest offer, which of course was an offer on the table that would have seen an increase of about 12% salary over 4 years, 3,000 more teachers hired over the next 3 years. And there was also coverage for the COVID vaccine for teachers. Now, there was about 51,000 teachers across the province. 43,000 or so voted in this latest contract offer over the last 3 days. But as you heard from Jason Schilling, the president of the Alberta Teachers Association, October 6th, when many of those teachers will head for the picket line, unless a deal is reached between now and then, that would leave 700,000 students here in Alberta out of school. So however many experts here we have spoken to, recapping that, expect both these sides to head back to the table potentially this week as that October 6th deadline looms. You heard from Jason Schilling there, calling it deplorable from the province to ask for the teachers to ask for educational assistance and to increase their salaries. We have reached out to the province for reaction to this latest vote. We are still awaiting a response. Ian?
Tyson, thanks very much for the updates.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Danielle, October is just around the corner, and that really is the time when our weather begins to turn.
Yep, you know, and sometimes it's a nice little switch that happens all of a sudden. We're going to decrease in temperature, so while today was excessively hot for many communities, we're not going to see that in the 10-day forecast. So check this out. Medicine Hat is at 29 right now, Lethbridge at 28. Both of these areas got into the 30s today, and for us here in Calgary, we got up to 26. So definitely a toasty day day, considering we're nearing the end of September. It did come with some wind gusts, but out of the right direction, south and southwest. So closer to 50 in Pincher Creek, mid-50s for Medicine Hat, almost 40 in Lethbridge, and just above 50 in Calgary. We can expect the wind to be a bit calmer for tomorrow, but tomorrow we're looking at more cloud cover, less sunshine, and a good chance of rainfall in many areas. So right now this is moving in through the BC side. This is going to start to shift its way here. So I'm going to give you the hour by hour, and really what we're looking at is the rain rolling in about 10 a.m. to Lethbridge, Pincher Creek, Crow's Nest Pass. Could be heavy at times as well. And then by the noon hour, it looks like it will move its way into Calgary. So between noon and 3 for Calgary is our best chance of rainfall for tomorrow. And then by the supper hours, we should get some breaks from the cloud cover. By Wednesday, mainly cloudy skies with some sunny breaks and a smaller chance of rain by then. So looking at your Action Furnace 5-day forecast, 20 degrees for tomorrow and for Wednesday. This will be the warmest of the next 10. Tomorrow, National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Again, you're looking at the chance of rainfall between noon and 3. That's when we have our best chance of it anyway, and a good amount of cloud cover. And then partly cloudy skies for Wednesday. Highs of 18 for Thursday and Friday, and by the weekend, check that out, just a high of 12.
Thanks, Danielle. After 9 town halls across our province, Premier Danielle Smith and her Alberta Next panel are wrapping up the highly contentious tour tonight in Calgary. Tim Brooke is at the town hall tonight, and Tim, these meetings are pitched as a way for residents to have their say.
Yes, that's right, Ian. The government says that it's just a way for those regular Albertans out there to come in and to talk about what they make of the relationship between Alberta and the federal government in Ottawa. And we can tell you, well, the appetite to do that is pretty large. The 9 previous town halls were well attended, and tonight the lineup to get inside about a half an hour ago was a very long one. Now, the panel wants to pitch 6 ideas tonight that could eventually become referendum questions, including a new police force and a new pension plan. But these town halls have also been criticized. And though they were initially billed as consultations, the Premier told the most recent town hall that the province would likely take action on some topics without a vote. Experts believe the focus just isn't where it needs to be right now.
So I think the government was trying to get information out, and you know, since they think these are good policies, they seem to have thought that if they just provided the information, that Albertans would agree with them. It doesn't look like that's happening on at least a couple of the policies. Frankly, I think Albertans are more concerned about affordability and health care, and it's not clear that any of these policies are addressing the priorities of Albertans.
Now, the meeting here at Spruce Meadows just kicked off about a half an hour ago. I'm about to head inside, and I'll have more details about what happened on our late show tonight at 11:30. Ian, this is the last in-person town hall for the Alberta Next panel, but we can tell you there will be a telephone town hall on Wednesday night.
Tim, thanks very much. Well, it's something both Alberta and Ottawa agree on, the possibilities of carbon capture. Next, a new facility in Innisfail and the testing of various ideas that could lead to a new international standard. And the Flames will have to make some tough decisions soon. A look at which young players have impressed so far at training camp. A new carbon capture facility in Innisfail is taking pollution out of the air and sending it underground. Many see carbon capture as a practical way to reduce emissions, and the company behind the plant says this is just the beginning. Kevin Green reports.
The $110 million Deep Sky Alpha project in central Alberta pulls carbon dioxide directly from the air, liquefies it, and prepares it for underground storage.
At the very core of it, direct air capture is basically vacuuming the sky. We're trying to get CO2 molecules from the atmosphere, produce them into CO2 gas that then gets stored underground in a safe and regulated manner.
What makes the Innisfail facility unique is that it operates several direct air capture systems side by side. Companies from around the world wanting to assess their tech under real-world conditions are set up here.
So we are not going to be only looking at one technology of one company. We are going to look across the spectrum at the leading technologies in direct air capture right here in Innisfail, Alberta.
Construction created more than 110 jobs, with 15 permanent workers now running the site. The company's CEO says Alberta's skilled oil and gas workers drew the company to Innisfail.
A lot of what we do ultimately does become gas processing. So what that means is the labor force from the energy sector is actually a natural pool for us to attract folks to work at our facility right here.
Deep Sky envisions 100 large-scale plants nationwide, creating thousands of high-demand green jobs. Petre says that could establish Canada as a global leader in carbon removal.
Canada is at the forefront of carbon removal, and we have a really big opportunity to actually be a global leader in carbon removal.
Right now, Deep Sky Alpha is removing about 3,000 tons of carbon a year. The company plans for scaled-up plants to remove 10 times that. Kevin Green, CTV News, Innisfail.
And carbon from Innisfail is sent north to Sturgeon County, where it's injected more than 2 kilometers underground for permanent storage. As insects go, they're pretty cute. Still ahead, why there's been a population boom in ladybugs in Alberta this summer. Calgary is putting on the polka dots. A boom of ladybugs can be found all over the city. Doug and Lana Wong were delighted to find hundreds of the ladybugs in their yard. Experts say ladybugs tend to congregate in the fall as they look for places to overwinter, making them more noticeable. But this year, there are more of them thanks to the hot, dry weather. That is perfect conditions for more aphids, and that's a ladybug's favorite meal. Experts say let them have their fun.
When the plants are stressed, they have a lack of water. When they don't have so much water, they're going to reduce their photosynthesis activity. When they do that, stress plants attracts insects. It's better if you leave them alone because next year they come stronger and they might kill the pests on your backyard.
An adult ladybug can eat several thousand aphids in its lifetime, and that is good news for gardeners.
Let's go ladybugs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed quite a few in my neighborhood as well. It's really cool to see. I love them. We've
been on the ladybug adventure hunt with my littles. Yeah, it's been fun.
That sounds like fun. Well, we've all experienced this, forgetting something that's right in front of us or behind us.
Okay, do you want to clip your backpack so we can go? It's on.
2-year-old Emmy was getting ready for daycare when she forgot her backpack was on her back. So it's not just older adults who momentarily forget the obvious. It's just a lot cuter when they're this little.
Happens with glasses or sunglasses.
Glasses, keys, all sorts of stuff like that. Well, it may be a little rough around the edges, but it could be your opportunity to get into the tourism industry in Newfoundland. An amusement park that closed in 2004 is up for sale. The asking price, $55,000. Of course, it might take a few bucks to restore the train tracks, the Ferris wheel, the swimming pool, and other attractions to their former glory. The old Trinity Loop Amusement Park is close to Terra Nova National Park and a nearly 3-hour drive to St. John's.
I'm thinking that's going to cost you millions.
Yeah, maybe a couple million to make it ship shape.
And the season's a little different, you know, for like when people could actually be enjoying an outdoor park.
Yeah, pretty limited season, I would imagine, in remote Newfoundland.
Right.
Well, for many of us, we rarely chat with the neighbors unless we're shoveling the sidewalk or taking out the garbage. For this guy, even that's too much. meet the introverted neighbor. The second he sees his guy next door, he dashes back inside with the garbage. Only when he knows the coast is clear that he goes back out to finish throwing out the trash.
I've done that, but not because I don't want to talk to somebody, but because like I'm in my house coat or something.
I was going to say because you're in your pajamas.
Yes. Oh.
I have to admit, there have been many times I've rolled out that blue bin in my pajamas first thing in the morning.
Nice.
Knowing that the truck is on its way. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Well, tomorrow marks National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. We'll take a look at some events going on to mark the day and to recognize the tragic legacy of residential schools.
Skywatch weather camera bouncing around, gusting up to 50 kilometers per hour. That's going to be the story with the gusts for the next couple of hours, and then it will quiet down for the most part anyway in the overnight hours, gusting closer to 30 in the overnight. We're 24 right now. Today's high was 26. Normal is 15, so well above normal for today. We're not going to get as much of that. Absolutely, the above normal temperatures in this longer range forecast, but we're still going to be in the 20s for the next couple of days, just not mid-20s or high 20s like it is in the southeast corner. 26 was the high in Calgary, 25 in Thunder Bay and Toronto and Montreal and Fredericton. Some of the hotter spots, but of course, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat got into the 30s today. All right, we have this stream of moisture that will start to push in tomorrow morning. So we have the chance of showers in many communities in southern Alberta tomorrow, Calgary included. You'll likely see that in Kelowna, Fernie, Salmon Arm as well. All right, Edmonton should be a little drier, just cloud cover, 16 degrees, 20 for Calgary, with the best chance of rain is really between noon and 3. And then further to the south, Lethbridge 22, Medicine Hat 26. All right, your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace. Fix right or it's free to kick off the day in the morning at 8 a.m., 10 degrees. But then between noon and 3, we have the chance of showers, and it could we could even have some pockets that could be a little bit heavy as well. In the afternoon, you're looking at getting to a high of 20 degrees. Ian?
Thanks, Danielle. Back to breaking news. Alberta teachers have rejected the province's latest contract offer, setting the stage for a potential province-wide strike next week. According to the Alberta Teachers Association, 89.5% of members voted against the deal. The union has said if the deal is voted down, 51,000 teachers would likely strike on October 6th. That is next Monday. Tomorrow marks National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, a time to honor all those impacted by the residential school system. Events begin today at the Confluence Historic Site and Parkland, where more than 20 different Indigenous and ally-led organizations are raising teepee lodges, with some people staying overnight. Events will run there tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that includes letter writing for reconciliation, plays, and elder storytelling. The Poka'ix Reconciliation Society will be hosting a commemorative walk and gathering starting at the Peace Bridge at 11. The University of Calgary is hosting a flag-lowering ceremony to mark the importance of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And that gets underway at 8:15 a.m. TD Bank unveils its plan to build back after a money laundering scandal in the U.S. BNN Bloomberg's Mirella Fernandez has more on that.
TD Bank is promising to slash costs and boost revenue under its new CEO. Raymond Chun is looking to deliver $2 to $2.5 billion in annual savings, in part by automating and using artificial intelligence. The bank is also looking to grow its wealth management business and plans to hire 1,200 new advisors in Canada. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 71.83. West Texas Intermediate crude is down over $2 to 63.01. Western Canadian Select is up to 53.73. And the TSX shot up to another record close, ending the day at 29,971. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
Calgary Craft Brewery is hosting a national competition to find the best local brews in the country. Toolshed Brewery hosting the 2025 Canada Beer Cup competition over the next few days. The brewery, which won 4 medals last year, is facing off against hundreds of beers from across the country, with judges assessing appearance, aroma, taste, and feel. The NHL regular season is just around the corner. Just 2 preseason games left, including one tonight before the coaches make the final cuts. Glenn is up next. The Calgary Flames open up the regular season on October 8th as they're in Edmonton to play the Oilers. Glenn is back with us. And Glenn, the Flames wrap up the road portion of the preseason tonight.
Ian, the Flames in Seattle to play the Kraken tonight. It's the 5th preseason game for the Flames, and so far they are 2-3 in exhibition play. After tonight, the Flames have only 2 preseason games left, and for some of these players, it may be their last chance to impress the coaches. Rory Cairns and Sam Honzik will both play in their 5th preseason game, and that means they've played well so far. Besides Sam Morton, those 2 have been the best young forwards in camp so far, and head coach Ryan Huska has liked both of their games.
I like playing games. I'm still pretty young, so feel pretty good, and yeah, excited for another opportunity tonight.
Both guys have done a good job. I think probably Rory this year is getting a little bit more attention. Like, he's been smart with how he's played the game, both with the puck and without it. And Sam's, he's quietly put together another good camp for us. And the one thing that we like about him is the speed and size, and we're trying to get him into that penalty kill role. So keeping him going there is something that we want to see if he can continue to do against better power plays.
A puck drop for tonight's game in Seattle a little after 8 o'clock. Well, it was a good weekend for the Calgary Canucks as they picked up a pair of wins. Canucks beat Lloydminster 4-1 on Friday night and then got past Bonnyville 4-2 last night. It's a new team, but the Canucks still have high expectations. Last year was a dream season for the Calgary Canucks. They won the AJHL for the 2nd year in a row, and they won the Centennial Cup on home ice. As nice as those memories are, it's time to move on. The Canucks don't have many players back from last year's squad.
We only got 4 guys coming back with the same mentality maintains, is that we want to win and we want to create a winning atmosphere, and we have the same culture in the room, so nothing changes for us, and just looking forward to a good season.
That culture has turned the Canucks into a winning program. As for this year, so far so good for the Canucks. They're 3-1 to start the season. Forward Riley Bracco was one of the returning players, and despite the fact the Canucks have a lot of rookies, the expectations are still high.
We've been the best team in the province and country for the last 2 years, and that's the expectation that we're going to hold. Everybody here too, and everyone knows that's what it's expected. We got a younger team, so it's not going to happen right off the bat. Like we've seen, it's a process. Every year it's been a process to get to being the best team, so just sticking to that process.
Grant Reed is one of the new faces. He's not a rookie. The 18-year-old came to Calgary after getting released by the WHL's Wenatchee Wild. Reed says coming to Calgary was the fit he was looking for.
You know, obviously it sucks getting cut from a team, but you know, I kind of looked over places to go with my family, my advisor, and we kind of saw Calgary as an opportunity. It's a big city with a good organization with past history of 2 AJHL championships, so you know, we thought it was the best fit. Loving it so far here.
Reed, by the way, leads the Canucks in scoring this season, 5 goals and 2 assists in 4 games. Up next for the Canucks, they're on the road for a pair of games. They're in Devon to play the Extreme on Friday night, then Drayton Valley on Saturday.
All right, thank you, Glenn. And, you know, if you're talking about hockey, it means our weather is getting colder, and it truly is.
Yep. Hockey has now officially made it colder.
Has a way of doing that, huh?
Blame it on the hockey, everybody. Not me. Okay, yes, 26 was the high today, but tomorrow, just 20. And then just 18 for Thursday and Friday. Again, that's still above normal, so it's nothing hugely dramatic. But look at Saturday, 12. That's below normal. Tomorrow we do have a chance of rain especially between the hours of noon and 3. Okay, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. And peekaboo balloon, hot air balloons here with the puppy. I like the puppy one. This is from Libby Goodliff, taken in High River, I believe, this morning.
The dog makes it. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Thanks very much. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.